And is there any
just
chance
exclusive.
that we could have a sequence? What chance that you can have a what? A sequence, like it starts with us.
Oh. I mean, if Colleen has her rights, I'll go anywhere. I'll follow this woman anywhere.
Y'all heard her.
Let's dive right into part 2, okay? This is Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover sold the rights to 2 of her novels, It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us, to Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Productions. They legally and rightfully own the rights. Colleen Hoover has recently tried to scrub her Instagram. It's completely gone. She has just registered her own production company called Heartbones Entertainment, LLC. Candace Owens, she's like me, relentless, like a dog with a bone, does not stop researching till she finds everything. Heartbones Entertainment is already set to turn some of Colleen Hoover's other novels into films, which is a really slick way of trying to make the most money. Instead of selling the rights to your other books, you're going to keep them, create your own production company, and then own the rights, own the production, own all of it for her other books. And things like this have already been put out by Variety. Colleen Hoover's novel, Reminders of Him, sets movie adaptation at Universal for Valentine's Day in 2026. But Colleen Hoover has many other novels. It's not just It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us, but those rights to those were sold, and Wayfarer Productions and Justin Baldoni and his partner own them. So even though at the end of part 1, I've already started to go into how Rob Simonson ended up being brought on to do the scoring of Blake's version, which Sony ended up keeping him because they let go of the other composer. Let's go back to what people, independent, everyday citizens of the world and the United States, had to say when Blake Lively was on the press tour for the film It Ends With Us. Remember, the premiere was August 6th of 2024, and then on August 9th of 2024, the movie comes out. On August 13th of 2024, that person who knows everything and dropped it on Reddit post. And then August 16th, there's all of these articles talking about how Blake Lively is tone deaf because people on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and other social medias were talking about how her interviews were tone deaf. One interview in particular, she tells you to grab your best friends and your best florals and the popcorn and go see the movie, completely skating over the fact that the movie isn't this woman's adventure and journey to finding herself. It's about the very harsh underlying DV topic. And then in another part, I still am dumb. I can't even find the words. In another part of an interview, she literally says, when asked, what would you say to people when they ask you questions about the DV part of the film, or if they ask you for advice? She goes on to say, oh, well, we could always just give them my address, give them my phone number. In fact, I think we can location share. Being sarcastic about anybody that's a survivor or currently under strain of a DV relationship. What do you expect from me? I'm just a star in the film. You shouldn't expect to ask me anything. What, do you want me to give them my email address, my address, my number, location share so they know where Blake Lively is at so they can come ask me about DV? It was completely tone deaf, to say the least. To be quite frank and quite honest, at the very most, this is just bullies and their tactic to completely dive into their own ignorance in topics like DV, which she has never even experienced or knows anything about, to completely overshadow the fact that people might come up to her and ask her. She might actually have a real DV survivor or currently in a DV situation come up to her and ask her questions, because this film is supposed to be about that. But the character is also tone deaf, because the character not only has something a lot of DV survivors and people that are in current DV relationships don't have. She has her own floral shop. She has a very large support system. She still has her mom. She has her best friend. She has an ex who has got a very successful job and restaurant and a very nice place to live. So that right there is already tone deaf for the character, because she already has not only equality, but an equity that most DV survivors and people that are in DV relationships don't have access to. They don't have access to that kind of support, those kinds of resources to be able to leave or just go somewhere else if they need to. So in my own opinion, It Ends With Us is completely tone deaf. The character Lily Blooms is tone deaf. She chooses to stay because he's rich, he's hot, he's a doctor. She has her own career, her own money, her own means, her own support system, and she has somebody in her life that actually will support her financially, physically, emotionally, and stability, will give her a place to live. Those are all things that most DV survivors do not have at all, not even one of those things. Blake Lively doesn't only struggle in interviews or on the red carpet or in films in her roles as coming across as relatable. She's not. That's why she comes across that way, because she has no idea what it's like to actually be in a DV situation. She has absolutely no idea what it's like for these people that are in these types of relationships or marriages, what it's really like for them. And that shows in her ignorance in the interviews. And everybody that watched the movie, the interviews, the publicity for it, and seeing all of this going around, all of these independent people and creators, content creators, influencers like me who voiced my own opinion about it, we can see and hear with our own eyes and our own ears. It was tone deaf, to say the very least. Very ignorant, to say the most. But Blake Lively has a very long history of being completely tone deaf. I mean, she got married to Ryan Reynolds on a southern plantation, like a real plantation. And she's trying to skate over the entire DV topic that this whole movie and book is even based on, with florals instead of Barbie-core pink. She also has weaponized her long-term, very close friendship with Taylor Swift and her husband, who's very successful, Ryan Reynolds, as a way to get a leg up in her own film and in her own roles, in her own workspace. She is a mean girl. That's just a fact. And her entire career, these whispers and speculations have come out because people have spoken their experience with her. Even going back to high school. Go look it up on TikTok. Blake Lively already comes from a family that is in the entertainment industry, even if they were not A-listers. She comes from a family that was successful financially and with steady work for years in acting. But besides getting married at a plantation where actual people, African American peoples, were enslaved, if that wasn't tone deaf enough, if completely skating over the DV topic that is It Ends With Us wasn't enough, if completely disregarding if any survivor comes up to her and asks her questions about the film, don't want them to know my email address or name or number or location share, what are you expecting me to give them, wasn't tone deaf enough. She also mocked Kate Middleton with the whole "where's Kate" thing. Kate was going through cancer, and I know because I survived stage 3 cervical cancer. I've been in remission for 5 years. From 32 to 39, I have gone through cancer. If that wasn't enough,